Can I make a whole Sudoku book in just 10 minutes? Let's find out. So this video is a bit different than my normal videos. I'm setting myself a challenge. Can I make a whole Sudoku book in just 10 minutes? That includes the entire interior of the book, as well as a basic front cover. So during this challenge, I'm going to set a timer which will appear on the screen, and I'll let that go live as I do the whole creation of the book process. But just before we get going, got a few things that we need to cover. First of all, we need to know what type of Sudoku book we're going to make, look at why we're making a Sudoku book, and make sure we know all the settings, how many Sudokus we want to make, all that kind of stuff. So to begin with, let's go on over to Amazon. So the easiest way to look at the competition for a certain type of book is just coming on to Amazon and typing into the search bar. So we've got things here on the search bar: Sudoku books for adults, Sudoku for kids, Sudoku large print, Sudoku easy. And so if we just look at generic Sudoku books for adults, we can see here at the top, there are over 8,000 results. Now that means it's incredibly competitive and it's going to be very, very difficult to outrank all of these on this first page. And with Amazon, that's what you want to do. You want to be ranking on that first page so that you're getting organic sales over the long term. And so what I would suggest with these Sudoku books, just because they seem to be very competitive, is niching down a little bit more. And so if we come back onto the search bar, we could either niche down into a hard area, an easy area, or maybe into something like a small size area. So if first of all we look at hard, we can see there are over 3,000 results. So that's much better. It's still very, very competitive having over 3,000 results. But if we look here at the top results, they look good, but I definitely think we could create something at this sort of level. Like if we scroll down the page a little bit and look at some of these that are ranking here, this large print Sudoku hard here, it looks very, very basic and it's only got 120 puzzles in. And we can create so many more than that in this challenge today. This one here on the right hand side, this one looks a little bit better. This is 1,000 puzzles, which I think is probably the level we want to go with this book. But if we come right up to the top, we ignore these sponsored products here at the top of the page, and we click on this first ranking organic book for this keyword. This one includes 400 puzzles, and it's a hard Sudoku book. So it says here, hard to extreme. And if we scroll down, we're just going to have a quick look at the bestseller rank. What the bestseller rank does on Amazon is it just gives us an idea of how much it's selling. And generally on the .com marketplace, anything under maybe 50,000 to 100,000 BSR means it's selling pretty well. If there's anything under 10,000 BSR, that means it's selling incredibly well. And all the BSR means is it's the bestseller rank, and that's the bestseller rank in terms of all the books on Amazon. So this one is currently at 16,370 in books. So that's going to be selling tens, if not more, every single day on the .com marketplace. So we can see that it's an area that's in demand, which is exactly what we want to be looking for. And so just before you get going with creating your book, that's probably what you want to be doing. You want to just be looking at the competition, thinking, can I make something that stands out against this, or at least kind of matches up in terms of what it's offering? Those 1,000 puzzles, maybe better front covers, all that kind of stuff. And then you want to go to the bestseller rank and make sure that the top books on that first page are ranking well in terms of the BSR. And then just before I get going, I also like to look at the reviews. That's going to give me a little bit of guidance in terms of like my strategy when creating my book. So this person here says very small puzzles. So this has got 6 puzzles per page. But if we scroll up to the top, we can see it's a 6 by 9 inch book. So maybe if we wanted to have 6 puzzles a page, we might want to go for a bigger book size. So just from that little looking around, I've decided I want to include 1,000 puzzles, and I'm going to have it to be an 8.5 by 11 inch book, which is your kind of like slightly bigger, almost A4 sized book. And we're going to include 6 puzzles per page to allow for a little bit of note taking and a good consumer experience. So what we need to do now is just do a quick bit of calculation. So if we get the calculator out and we do 1,000 divided by 6, we can see here that in order to include 1,000 puzzles, we need 167 pages. Then what we also need is an intro page And then maybe a couple of things at the end, such as solutions, and then also QR codes to more of our books. So this is saying 167 pages. Let's say it's 170 pages in total. So what we're going to do here with the solutions, if we wanted to include these in the back of the book, that 170 pages is quickly going to turn into 250 pages, which means our royalty is going to diminish quite significantly. So what we're going to do here, seeing as we're going for that higher amount of puzzles, is we're going to include a QR code to our puzzle solutions. So all you do for that is you would have your solutions downloaded separately, and then you just upload them to a website and include a QR code in the back of your book. And if we come on to this book as an example, that's exactly what they've done here. They've said solutions available to view online and download. So that is exactly what we're going to do with our book to allow us to have 1,000 hard level Sudoku puzzles. Okay, so I know it's going to be 170 pages long. I know I want to include 1,000 puzzles, and we're almost ready to get going. The only thing left to figure out is how we're going to make the Sudoku puzzles and how we're going to make our book. And for that, today I'm going to use BookBolt, and I'm going to show you all about how it works in terms of creating puzzle books. So what we're doing here is we're creating a new project, and you can see here we want to create a cover and interior because this challenge is going to include the interior and the cover, which is going to be very challenging. And then we want to select our trim size. So we are going to do an 8.5 by 11 inch book because we're going for that slightly larger size. And then what we want to do is have 170 pages, and we're not going to include a bleed. Right, so once happy here, you click create project, and then we've got our book cover here at the beginning, and then we've got 170 pages. So just before I get going, I'm just going to take you through the puzzle generator just so you can see the options. And then I'm going to show you how to actually make it. No cuts, no nothing. You're going to get all my ums and ahs and decision-making process. But just to begin with, if you wanted to create puzzles, you just collect this little puzzle piece. And here are all the different puzzles that you can generate on BookBolt. So you can do things like Mind Finder, Kakuro, word scrambles, missing vowels, cryptograms, crossword puzzles, Sudokus, which we're going to do today, word searches, mazes, and loads of others. So if we have a quick look at Sudokus, I'm just going to show you the options. So the first thing you can do is select a board size. So the generic Sudokus that people know and love are generally 9 by 9. But here you can even do 12 by 12 and 16 by 16 for even harder Sudokus, which we might do later on in this book. You can then select the difficulty, and you can even select things like filled cells. So seeing as we're going for hard, we want to include auto, which will be as few as possible. But if you wanted to start off a little bit easier, you could include, 30% filled cells, for example. So I'm not going to create the Sudokus yet. I'm just going to show you the options. And then puzzles per page. We were talking here, so you can have 1 puzzle per page, 6 puzzles per page, even 12 puzzles per page. You can then do things like select the gap between the puzzles. You can align them on the page. You can do things like selecting the line width and all that kind of stuff, as well as the border width. You can select the font. So if you want to go with a bit more of a fun font, you can do here. You can do the number text size, number color, and then you can also select the solutions as well. So one thing to note with the solutions, seeing as they don't necessarily have to be quite as big, you might want to do 12 per page here, for example. And I've already gone wrong here, because let's say if we need 12 solutions per page, we also need to include that on the document here. So we also need to get our calculator out again and do 1,000 divided by 12. So that's 84 pages. So we need to have 170 plus 84 pages. So 170 plus 84 equals 254 pages. Okay, so I'm going to just create another document quickly with 254 pages. Now, for the purpose of this video, the solutions are going to be included in the back of the book. But as mentioned, if I was publishing this to Amazon myself, I'd probably extract those, upload them to a website, and then link to them with a QR code, because that's going to give us a bigger royalty per sale. Whereas with this big old 254 page book, we're not going to get much of a royalty. So I'm going to create this book in a minute. We're going to get started with the challenge. But just so you know, for this challenge, the solutions are going to be in the back of the book, just because it's a bit easier than adding the QR code within that 10 minutes, uploading them to a website, all that kind of stuff. But that's always an option for you if you want to publish, a book with a ton of puzzles in it. So here we are. I'm going to get my timer up, which is right here. We're going to pin the timer to the top of the screen. So we're on BookBolt. We're going to create 1,000 Sudoku puzzles and a front cover, which, let's face it, it's not going to be very good in 10 minutes, but can we do it? Let's find out. Okay, so I'm going to push the start button and then we're going to go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right, so the first thing we want to be doing is we want to create our puzzles. So we just go on to here and select our Sudokus. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do 200 puzzles at a time so that they're different hardness levels. So if I select from page 1 to 200, actually, no, I'm going to select from page 2 to 201 because I want an intro page. This is going to be where the challenge gets hard. It's just figuring out the pages. Okay, so I'm just going to open my pad here. So from 2 to 201, there we go. Continue to options. We're going to start with a 9x9 on hard, 6 puzzles a page. Leave all that as default for now. I think Open Sans is a nice one to do. We're going to manually select our solution pages as well, which is going to be more admin, but we're going to do those from page 171. And we're going to click preview. So the great thing about BookBolt is you can preview it before you do it. So here's what it looks like. What I've noticed is we need titles. So we're going to get off of that and we are going to include titles. Custom. We're going to start at number 1. Hard Sudoku. And then we're going to preview that, see what that looks like. Already 2 minutes into this challenge. Okay, need to get going. Preview, come on, let's go. 2 minutes 12. Okay, there we go. So we've put puzzle number here just for the number. Text size, we're going to do small there. Okay, so we're going to continue. And then for solutions, we're going to do 171. I've already gone wrong here. Okay, technical issues as I do this. Okay, so solutions manually. I don't think I have enough puzzle pages here. Back to pages. Aha! This is where I've gone wrong. I've selected 200 pages, which is completely wrong. So I need to go back to the calculator and I need to do 200 times 6. 200 divided by 6, which is 33.3. Let's see, about 250. See if that goes into 6. Okay, so we're going to do 42 pages. So we're going to do page 2 to 43. 2 to 43. So we're going to do 42 pages 4 times. This is where it gets a bit confusing. Okay, so here we go. Continue to solution pages. Select from 171. We need to do 250 divided by 12 here. 21 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 21 pages up to 191. Submit. And here we go. We're actually making our first lot of Sudoku pages. We're already at 5 minutes 30 because I was doing the wrong settings. But here we go. Here's our first Sudoku. So we've got hard Sudoku, and I've already made a mistake by not having the number there. So we're going to have to start completely again from scratch. Right, come on, we can do this. So from page 1 to 40, so from page 2 to 43. So I didn't use the preview here properly, which is where I went wrong. I needed to use this puzzle number in order to extract the number. There we go, that's better. Okay, continue to solution pages. I think we said we're going to start from 171 to 192. Go to 191, submit, and now we've got our first 250 solutions, hopefully. So here we go. Okay, we're at 7 minutes, no chance of this. Okay, so we've got up to number 252. So we're going to start at number 253 next time. 253, and we're going to start from page 44. Okay. And then with the solutions, this is where the most of the time comes, is just if you're trying to do a high quality thing like I'm trying to do here, is just figuring out all of the solutions. So here we go. So we're going to start again. Puzzle page, Sudokus, and we're going to start from page 44. And because we are running out of time, we are going to do right to page 167. Page 44 to 167. Just to try and meet the deadline. Okay, we're at 8 minutes 21, continue to options. Let's do a 12 by 12 grid for these ones to make it really hard. And we're starting here at the bottom. So we did 252 already, so we can start from 253. And here we go, just making sure this looks right. There we go. So that looks fine. Continue to solution pages. We are going to pick up where we left off. We're going to do to page 254. So we're doing from page 192 to 254. Here we go, submit. Fix errors and try again. Please select 62 pages. Okay. Here we go. So 100, 253. Cancel from to 192, 253. Here we go. Right, we're at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. We're just about to generate the final puzzles. BookBolt is thinking. Come on, BookBolt. You can do it. So here we go. Let's go all the way down. Project, download as a CMYK for printed books. 9:58, 9:59, 10 minutes. It's just downloading. We're almost there. We did not manage to make a front cover, which is a shame, but that's my own fault really. This is my first time creating Sudoku books, as you can probably tell, but this is how easy it is using BookBolt. So we're just gonna pause this timer now. It took 10 minutes and 20 seconds to generate all of my puzzles in this book. We're just gonna review it now. I'm gonna download this PDF and we're gonna see how it looks. We're gonna make sure we're happy with all the puzzles, make sure there's no errors. And if I've learned anything along the way, it is make sure you do all your preparations up front because, you know, like this, you need to make sure that you've got your right page set up and make sure you know what kind of puzzles you wanna create. In the end for this book, we did 252 9x9s and then we did however many was left on those pages as 12x12s. So if I was doing this again, I'd take the extra time and do 250 of 9x9s, then 250 12x12s, and then maybe 500 16x16s to make it a really challenging puzzle book with loads of different sections and like it getting harder and harder as you went on. Whereas this one, it's got basic 9x9s for 252 of them, and then it's got 12x12s for the rest of the book. Okay, so that's my first challenge on this channel. Unfortunately, we did not quite meet the 10 minutes, especially when I wanted to create a front cover as well. Now that would have been incredibly challenging, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm just going to open this PDF now and we can have a look at the final result. So what's great about BookBolt as well is you can extract it in a fully formatted document ready to upload to Amazon KDP. So here we go, we've got the cover, which unfortunately we didn't get around to making this time. And then we have the interior. So we open the interior. So I actually had my first page here ready to include a nice intro page. I thought 10 minutes, that's plenty of time, but it wasn't. So what you'd need to do here is just write a nice intro page here just to introduce the book, maybe include some rules, that kind of thing. But then as we go, this is what the Sudoku book looks like. So this is an 8.5 by 11 inch book. This is how big they are going to appear. So yeah, pretty good size here, plenty of size for jotting around the outside. So I'm happy with that. And if we scroll through the document, you can see that they've all got numbers after them. Really happy with how it looks. And we'll go to number 252, which is that one. And then we get down to the 12x12s. So here maybe I should have reworded them. Maybe I could have put extra hard Sudoku or extreme Sudoku because that would have indicated that kind of change in the difficulty. But yeah, so we scroll down. We have made in total, let's get to the end of the hard ones, we've made 996. So that's a bit of a fail. We needed one more page to get over 1,000. And when we come down here, here's the solution pages. So you might want to just cut out these pages. That's because I didn't work it out quite correctly. And you could also then separate these documents and upload these solutions somewhere else online. But as you can see here, we've got all 996 solution pages here that are really nice, decent size here for you to be able to view online. So yeah, overall, this was a really fun challenge to do. I did not quite achieve what I thought I was going to achieve, but hopefully this shows you just how easy it is to use BookBolt to make puzzle books. It's my #1 tool for anything puzzles, whether it's word searches, crosswords, Sudokus, and if you want to try it out for yourself, there's a link down in the description below. Thanks for checking out the video. If you enjoyed this kind of challenge format, let me know because I want to do more of them in the future. Any tips on the format or anything like that, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.